PTF and JK back with you for In the Money Media. Want to thank the sponsors of this video, our friends over at Twin Spires and Twin Spires Tournaments. There is a Risen Star betting challenge, $800. You can play it over there at Twin Spires. You can feed your way in during the week. Make sure you go to twinspires.com, click that Tournaments tab to see all the action they have as we are on this march to the Kentucky Derby betting challenge and, of course, the Kentucky Derby. Key Derby points available in the Risen Star Stakes, which is happening on Saturday in New Orleans. And we'll start the conversation with the horse who is currently among the highest ranked runners in our Derby top 10 list. Make sure you check out that video as well. The horse in question, he's Paladin. He's been working steadily at Payson Park, PPs that look eerily similar to 24 Risen Star winner Sierra Leone and 22 third place finisher Zandon. That Remsen form working out really well with second place finisher Renegade coming back to win in Tampa last weekend. JK, give us your current thoughts on Paladin.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of nailed it all, really. I mean, he's got the price tag that suggests a horse that's going to appreciate this ground, these distances as the races get longer, just like not his brother, but his big cousin, right? Maybe, or, his family friend in Sierra Leone. And like you said, the Renegade thing last weekend, how well Renegade ran, I think adds a lot to how good Paladin probably is. And I think we'll find out on Saturday when he gets this added ground. This will be the first mile and an eighth test that these horses will have taken outside of that Remsen, that Paladin has already passed that test. The rest of them will be trying it for the first time. So I'm not too concerned about the distance as well.
Yeah, trying for the first time, if you excuse Cording's run, let's go right to him because he reappears here. He was in that Remsen, did not get to show his best stuff, though I still give him some credit given the poor break and the way he was plugging on suggests to me that when he's facing this mile and an eighth test anew, that he's a horse that could pass it. He ended up fourth in there, no match for the top three, but connections have rebooted Cording. I just think he's a little interesting in here at what I'm hoping will be a price. Can you see where I'm heading with Cording as maybe one to get a little piece in here?
Well, when you see a horse that's out of cavorting by Curlin, it's a half to a multiple grade one winner in Clairiere, the excitement is always going to be surrounding. The problem is this horse has stayed within the 74 to 76 buyer range in all three starts, was beaten 7 lengths by a horse that's in this race. The 76, 75, and 74 seem like they're probably pretty real for who Cording is. Cording's going to have had a great Christmas, great New Year's, grown up quite a bit, and kind of turned the corner in order to beat a horse like Paladin.
The old baseball cliche. He's in the best shape of his life. That's going to have to be the case for him to step up. I'm not ruling it out, though. I thought there were some subtle hints from that race last time in the Remsen that he could be a little bit better than the bare form suggests. We shall see. One other line of form that I want to mention before we get to the home team, as it were, the Kentucky Jockey Club Universe was second in there. He's another one who does not look fast enough given the figures you see in your racing form. But I think you can argue that he's got the best body of work in terms of stakes form. A grade 1 third, seconds in a grade 3 and grade 2, and he's knocked heads with some leading Derby contenders, horses like Napoleon Solo and Further Ado. Now, on the minus side, Incredible did nothing for the form of this Kentucky Jockey Club last time when a total no-show in the Holy Bull. But that was a race that was so bad, it's almost impossible to believe it. JK, can you see Universe stepping up with an out-of-this-world performance in the Risen Star?
I mean, he's got enough numbers that suggest that 3 versus 1. He's got 3 good races and a bad one. You'd like to think that the 3 outweighs the 1, but the 1 was the most recent. You're 100% right. He's going to have to show up and run better, and I would imagine that the spendthrift camp of Further Ado will be paying attention as well, just to kind of get a little bit of a measuring stick on that Kentucky Jockey Club, because right now it's not looking great.
Let's talk about the local runners, and in doing that, we can look back on the previous race in this series of Kentucky Derby preps, the Lecomte. The winner of the Lecomte was number 2, Golden Tempo. I thought he took advantage of a great setup to come running from near the back of the pack there with 3 of today's rivals in behind: Carson Street, Chip Honcho, and Quality Mischief. Golden Tempo earned an 81 buyer in that win with the setup. That leaves him with too much to find, I think, But they are 3-year-olds. They can step up from start to start. What do you expect to see from Golden Tempo on Saturday?
Well, I mean, I think two things can be true. One is that there was a huge setup. I thought Golden Tempo had everything his way and did it with a slow time. That's not encouraging moving forward. The other thing that could also be true that you mentioned is that they are 3-year-olds. They can change overnight. They can improve. Different race scenarios can help them perform at a higher level, and maybe that's the case. I will be voting that it's not the case with Golden Tempo.
I mentioned that trio in behind, Carson Street, Chip Honcho, and Quality Mischief, all of whom are here. Do any of those pick your interest in this spot? And then we'll get to our picks for the race in at the very end.
No, I think Carson Street and Chip Honcho are interesting from a pace standpoint. Of the two, I would prefer Chip Honcho, who's been a little bit more consistent and one that if you think Golden Tempo got a setup, then you'd like to think Chip Honcho was a little bit closer to that pace and probably didn't get a setup. The problem is that the race wasn't very fast, which we'll continue to say about that Lecomte.
Yeah, that's the problem with trying to make a case. I was going to sort of reflexively pick Carson Street as a horse who was on the pace there, who finished best of them. But I think you're right. You get into trouble when you start making these sort of subtler flow and trip cases in races that just aren't very fast, which leads us to our actual picks for the race. JK, who's going to win the Risen Star?
Yeah, Paladin for me. I just think he's probably got a little bit too much to offer from this group. I think if it wasn't for what I saw from Renegade, it would be a kind of a fun race to take him on. Maybe one of those, how good was the Remsen types of moves. But with Renegade doing what he did last week in that Sam F. Davis, there's really nowhere to hide. Paladin did well in beating Renegade. He's got everything in his corner in order to move forward, and I think he will in this Risen Star.
I'm with you. Paladin is the top pick, and I'm going to go ahead and bet against the local contingent and say I think we could see a Paladin courting exacta in here. I'll be playing that one as well. Godspeed to you if you're getting involved over at twinspires.com. Once again, head over there, click on that tournaments tab, see everything they've got on offer, including the Risen Star betting challenge this weekend. And of course, the Kentucky Derby betting challenge, horse racing's newest major in terms of contests, coming up when else on the first Saturday in May. For JK, I'm PTF. May you win all your photos.